Here is your latest African news. Your news highlights: Democratic Republic of Congo. Democratic Republic of Congo to discuss withdrawal of UN peacekeepers. East Africa, mastermind of terror attacks on US embassies in Kenya and Tanzania killed. Ghana, Ghanaian President says it's time for Africa to get slavery reparations. Benin unveils a giant Amazon statue of a warrior woman. West Africa, Ghana and Ivory Coast want more premium for their cocoa beans. Somalia's Prime Minister names ex-Shabaab leader Mukhtar Rubow to cabinet. Diaspora, slave owner Sir Thomas Picton portrait returns in bid to reframe past. Democratic Republic of Congo. Democratic Republic of Congo to discuss withdrawal of UN peacekeepers. The Democratic Republic of Congo is expected to hold talks with the UN mission in the country, MONUSCO, on the withdrawal of peacekeepers. The announcement came after President Felix Tshisekedi chaired a meeting with the presidents of the two chambers of parliament, the Prime Minister, and officials from the eastern North Kivu province. Report says the deadly protest demanding MONUSCO expulsion erupted in North Kivu's capital, Goma, on July 25th and have since spread. Activists have accused the UN mission of failing to stop a decades-long rebellion in the east. The government spokesperson, Mr. Patrick Muyaya, said a total of 36 people, including 4 UN peacekeepers, have been killed following the protests. Meanwhile, on August 1st, security forces dispersed fresh protests in Benin, North Kivu, and it resulted in the disruption of activities in the region. A UN peacekeeping force has been in the Democratic Republic of Congo for more than 2 decades. MONUSCO took over from the previous UN mission in 2010. East Africa, mastermind of terror attacks on US embassies in Kenya and Tanzania killed. The US has killed the leader of Al-Qaeda, Ayman al-Zawahiri, in a drone strike in Afghanistan, President Joe Biden has confirmed. He was killed in a counter-terrorism operation carried out by the CIA in the Afghan capital of Kabul. On July 31st, Zawahiri took over Al-Qaeda after the death of Osama bin Laden in 2011. Zawahiri had masterminded the August 1998 attacks on the US embassies in Kenya and Tanzania, in which 223 people died. Ayman al-Zawahiri was an Egyptian doctor who was imprisoned in the 1980s for involvement in radical Islam. He left Egypt after his release and eventually settled in Afghanistan, where he joined forces with Osama bin Laden. Zawahiri was considered to be the ideological brains of Al-Qaeda. He was indicted in the US for his role in the August 1998 bombing of the US embassies in Kenya and Tanzania, which killed 224 people and wounded thousands others. Ghana. Ghanaian President says it's time for Africa to get slavery reparations. Ghana's President Nana Akufo-Addo has called for slavery reparations to Africa and the African diaspora. Speaking at the Reparations and Racial Healing Summit on August 1st, President Akufo-Addo said these reparations were long overdue and needed to be intensified. He questioned double standards in the debate when it came to other races and ethnic groups that were wronged historically. He also complained that all the owners of enslaved Africans received reparations to the tune of £20 million, but enslaved Africans themselves did not receive a penny. Haiti also had to pay reparations amounting to $21 billion to French slaveholders in 1825 following the Haitian Revolution. Whilst reiterating that no amount of money can restore the damage caused by the transatlantic slave trade and its consequences, which have spanned many centuries, the president stated that nevertheless it is now time to revive and intensify the discussions about reparations for Africa. He asked participants at the summit not to overly concern themselves with modalities for the payment of reparations, but rather work to establish unequivocally first the justice in the call for reparations. Benin unveils a giant Amazon statue of a warrior woman. Benin's President Patrice Talon has unveiled 3 monuments in the capital Cotonou to remind citizens to celebrate the historical heroes. The monuments include the Garden of Matthew, the statue of the King Bayo Guerra, and the Amazon. Matthew's gardens are in honor of the former President Matthew Kerako. The gardens are part of the project to embellish the city of Cotonou, a showcase city of the country. The giant Amazon statue has fueled controversy in the country. Called Esplanade de Amazon, this square houses a majestic statue of a warrior woman considered for some as Queen Tasi Hangbe, and for others the portrait of a Beninese Amazon. Benin's president said the country needed to celebrate what is gratifying to them, and the monuments are there to instill pride and unity in the country. Ghana and Ivory Coast. Ghana and Ivory Coast want more premium for their cocoa beans. Major cocoa buyers have agreed to pay a premium and back a price floor on cocoa sold by Ivory Coast and Ghana as part of an agreement reached to combat poverty among farmers. Cocoa industry players will back a fixed living income differential of $400 a ton on all cocoa contracts sold by Ivory Coast or Ghana, two top global cocoa producers. Buyers will also pay a country premium that will enable cocoa regulators in both countries to reach a target floor price of $2,600 per ton, which should allow farmers to earn a minimum of 70% of the target floor price. Both countries have struggled to achieve the price target, prompting the Côte d'Ivoire-Ghana Cocoa Initiative to work with the industry on a price mechanism. Somalia Prime Minister names ex-Al-Shabaab leader Mukhtar Rubow to cabinet. Somalia's Prime Minister Hamza Barre on August 2nd broke with tradition and named a former Al-Shabaab leader in his cabinet in what could signal a turn in counter-terrorism policy. Mr. Barre named Mukhtar Rubow, a former deputy leader of the militant group Al-Shabaab, 2 years after he was placed under house arrest. Mr. Rubow will now be the Minister of Endowment, Religious Affairs and Counter-Terrorism Ideology. He will mostly be in charge of dissuading the youth from joining Al-Shabaab based on religious convictions. His Council of Ministers consists of 26 men and women, including politicians and former senior government officials. Mr. Rubow had defected to the government in 2017 after falling out with other Al-Shabaab faction leaders. Over a decade ago, he had told the media in Mogadishu that he was lucky to have been one of the few Somalis trained in Al-Qaeda's camp in Afghanistan, and that on one occasion he shook hands with Osama bin Laden, the then leader of that group. Diaspora. Slave owner Sir Thomas Picton portrait returns in bid to reframe past. A portrait of slave owner Sir Thomas Picton has been put up on display, albeit boxed up and alongside new artworks and information that reframes his place in history. The portrait was removed from National Museum Cardiff in November following scrutiny of memorials to slave owners. The museum commissioned 2 artworks from Trinidadian artists to reframe his legacy and give a voice to his victims. Young people also worked with curators to provide additional context. Previously, information alongside the portrait of Picton, who was from Haverford West, Pembrokeshire, hailed him as a hero of the Battle of Waterloo. It had not included his brutal treatment of the people of Trinidad, including the torture of 14-year-old Luisa Calderon. One of the new artworks, an installation called The Wound is a Portal, is by multidisciplinary artist Gacy, who is from Trinidad and Tobago and has Nigerian heritage. The Picton portrait is one of 200 memorials in Wales to people with links to slavery identified by a 2020 audit. The new exhibition came after the museum called in the Sub-Saharan Advisory Panel to decide the future of the portrait, which had hung in the museum's Face of Wales gallery. The group said the painting should remain on display, but with added details about Picton's actions as a slave owner. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, follow, share and like our video. It's the best way of supporting us, and remember, Africa is watching.